Guaranteed there will be some kind of like fat joke at my expense in this video, guaranteed.
There once was a boy. He was a normal, happy boy. But then something dark happened. Something bad. He was killed in a graphic way.
Isn't that a YouTuber? The guy's face he's using?
His hair turned white like anime, and his eyes become red and start leaking fluids. His
You gotta say the eyes were like hyper realistic as well.
vengeful soul merged with his favorite game, Furry Shades of Gay. And now it is said that if you play an evil version of this game, a spooky creature will come out of your screen and touch you.
Horror as a genre is massive.
Look at that background, bro. He's got Germa on the TV, Live, Laugh, Leg. Slender the 8 Pages, Sonichu. I think that's Wendigoon Barely. Nostalgia Critic bleeding out of his eyes and nose hyper-realistically. Golden Freddy, and it just has Fent wrote on the walls.
With an incalculable amount of stories, TV shows, movies, urban legends throughout
His editing, like, one thing I love about Flazfire's videos, though, is the editing is just always so solid. It's so good.
human history,
All with the goal of playing with a primordial instinct that
What's that? Yeah, I'm not even surprised.
lay dormant within every human being. Fear.
and then the internet came along and ruined it.
Or did it?
If you've been online for any amount of time, you've come across tales, myths, and legends with a spooky digital aesthetic. From haunted games with Sonic, but he's
What's with the feet, man? This guy's like a bigger degen than me, holy.
evil, bear that go, or a seemingly infinite amount of stories that end with them being all in lay ahead. But with all this content, is any
Nothing wrong with all in head games, bro, less of that.
of it good? And more importantly, does it accomplish
You just had the Petscop thing for like a split second there.
Is any of it good? And
You see that? See that? That's bullying.
more importantly, does it accomplish what it sets out to do? Is any internet horror actually scary in a way that leaves a lasting impact on the
I remember reading about Clockwork Orange, this scene, and it actually, the guy had to get like surgery afterwards because the stitcher, whatever the thing is they used to keep his eyes open for the scene, they actually scratched his cornea. So we had to get like surgery for it afterwards.
those who dare glimpse inside in a way that's not ironic?
Okay, the context here is we put. Why does he put Skibbity Toilet on it? We put a jump. If any of you remember, I put a jump scare in Darkwood. Like that face just appears randomly for no reason. Like 6 hours into the video, and a lot of people were commenting, being like, "Oh, I fell asleep to your videos and I can't do it anymore because it's a scary face."
Because a lot of discussion I see when it comes to anything web horror adjacent seems based solely off of hype moments and aura, instead of its quality or ability to scare. Horror and comedy are extremely subjective, is the thing that I hear online, which is wrong because I say so and I'm always right. Comedy and horror are a science with provable formulas for success. What makes you laugh and what makes you
Pickle Rick, Egg Fella, and Bold Keemstar.
scared are the subjective aspects. Just like how you can laugh at something someone else
Who's that little fella? It's just a little fella. Seen that little fella?
doesn't find funny, you can be scared by something that someone else finds mundane.
That is like a 7-layered in joke. That cat.
Shouting, "Penis!" isn't a joke, but it can make you laugh. In the same way that a jump scare will make you flinch.
Touch the androids' cheeks.
But it's not horror. They are two sides of the same coin.
What's wrong with the cat? It has like 4 ears. He has like ears growing inside of his ears. It's like some genetic mutation thing.
Attempting to elicit the same reaction from the viewer at opposite ends of the spectrum. Now, internet horror is an extremely broad topic to discuss. I might as well be talking about a certain orange creature of large mass with just how vast it is. So I'm gonna do what my ex-wife did to my heart and break it into tiny little pieces, cheat on it repeatedly, arrange those pieces into
He didn't have to put that in the video. He really didn't. He really didn't have to put that in the video.
categories, and then dissect them even further. There is a lot of overlap within the different genres of internet horror, sharing similar stories, writing conventions, characters.
This hasn't been released yet. You do realize not all the commissions get posted publicly, right? There is a reason for that.
Tropes, themes, etc., etc.
Because Flasfire uses them in his videos.
And I can't cover it all because I'm just one man with a broken cloning machine. But I hope that by analyzing the specifics, it helps me convey exactly why I believe that the vast
He's got the S wrote on his shirt, but I cannot tell what the thing is on the left.
majority of internet horror isn't scary. A relatively recent phenomenon in the realm of internet horror is that of the alternate reality game, or as it is more popularly known as, the ARG. ARGs are an interactive form of multimedia storytelling that involves any type of mixed media that presents itself as being real. Being scary is not a requirement of an ARG, but online by far the most popular ones are the supposedly scary versions. An example would be, internet horror is an extremely broad topic.
Okay, we got to light here.
To discuss, I might as well be talking about a certain
Skipping that bit.
ex-wife
Skipping that bit.
did to my heart and break it into tiny little pieces, cheat on it repeatedly, arrange those pieces into categories, and then dissect them even further. There is a lot of overlap within the different genres of internet horror, sharing similar stories, writing conventions, characters, tropes, themes, etc., etc. And I can't cover it all because I'm just one man with a broken cloning machine. But I hope that by analyzing the specifics, it helps me convey exactly why I believe that the vast majority of internet horror isn't scary. A relatively recent phenomenon in the realm of internet horror is that of the alternate reality game, or as it is more popularly known as, the ARG. ARGs are an interactive form of multimedia storytelling that involves any type of mixed media that presents itself as being real. Being scary is not a requirement of an ARG, but online by far the most popular ones are the supposedly scary versions. An example would be a random YouTube channel named Luna.
Why did he put this in? Luna pause. And every single one is 30 minutes long.
Pause. That posts a 30-minute
No, don't say holy. Don't say holy. Don't encourage this behavior.
video of a static PNG of Luna Hell of a Boss with her paws out every 5 days. With every subsequent upload, the PNG becomes more warped and distorted, and on the 50th upload, there is a fart reverb sound effect playing quietly in the background that when analyzed through a spectrograph gives the link to a website, lunapaws.gov, that details government plans to use Luna toes as a form of mass mind control on the population by inputting a code on the website found in the comments of the 30-second upload posted by an account, LunaPaw Hater.
No one's subscribing to Dolan. No one's doing that.
It will forcibly open your webcam with an image of Luna's.
What has he been doing recently? Because we kept up to date.
Well,
welcome back to Slop Live. I'm happy to announce I've downloaded a new editing program. And the H button on the keyboard is fixed, though the button left of it is now broken. But hopefully I should have a good working microphone by tomorrow and we'll be almost back to normal. As for today's slop, Pyrocynical keeps watching my videos on stream because he's
sweaty toes. If you stare directly at the image for 48 hours without blinking, it will download a game to your Steam library that, when opened, shows a PS2 graphic desk with a box and file that reads, "People are watching.
Anyways.
Just open box. Blah, 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 blah." And the ending, say it with me, is all in lay head. ARGs allow for an amount of immersion in horror media that is difficult to achieve through standard storytelling.
It's not a truth nuke. It's called obsession.
because it requires you to actually do the work to delve deeper into the story. Horror and puzzle-solving mysteries fit very nicely together because the unknown is what gives both their intrigue. And when you are the one that has to solve the mysteries, it feels as though the story of the ARG is happening to you, or rather to the YouTuber whose video essay you're watching. But a massive amount of recent ARGs seem to misunderstand exactly what makes something scary, or even an ARG. I need to bring attention to a specific letter in the acronym, the G. Game. For an ARG to be an ARG, it needs to be interactive at some level.
I think he was sad enough to edit that as well. I could tell that that was tracked.
I can offer you an edge. You have no chance of gooning.
But a lot of ARG creators and consumers seem to forget that and just slap the label on everything. Kanito Pet, Five Nights at Freddy's, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, SCPs, creepy Minecraft videos, haunted Gmod maps. Children watching a spooky, mysterious thing does not an ARG make.
It's actually crazy how big horror content is for kids, though. I keep being recommended this, like, My Little Pony infection stuff. Like, what's that channel that everyone was, like, making videos on her? Like, roasting her? Jelly Bean? She's doing really well, by the way. Look at this. She's on, like, 7 million subs. 6 million. That's insane. But I'm pretty sure she did a video looking at, like... I mean, what if I sort from, like, most popular? Yeah, like, her most popular videos are basically watching horror content. Because people just absolutely, like, obsess over that stuff. I don't watch Jelly Bean, obviously. But I actually kind of respect the bounce back because, like, I swear there was one point where, like, everyone was, like, shitting on her. But yeah, she actually carved out a little bit of the internet for herself. Oh, yeah, look, there you go. The My Little Pony stuff. It's, like, always, like, My Little Pony and horror. There's, like, always such a big combination there. The MLP infection is quite good. I hate to admit it. I should not be admitting this on stream. When I had TikTok on my phone and I saw, like, Sonic or, like, My Little Pony infection stuff, I would always scroll. I would always scroll and watch I would watch the entire thing. Out of, like, just morbid curiosity. Horrible thing to admit.
A lot of these fall into the realm of unfiction, which is just a fictional thing that presents itself as being real. What makes a good alternate reality game unsettling is that it takes place somewhat in our reality. Some so much so that it legitimately bleeds into our real world. Indie Game Inscription has an interactive game-within-a-game narrative that, in order to be decoded, required following a set of coordinates into the middle of the woods and digging up a floppy disk in order to help the community solve the puzzle. But subpar ARGs neglect this in favor of telling a narrative with easy, predictable puzzles in order to increase their likelihood of being covered by a YouTuber.
I'm not looking up Big Boy 281 lore.
Hello Neighbor is a...
What is that? There's like a group of you that have joined the stream and you're spamming it. Yeah, I'm looking it up, but it doesn't even come up with anything. Shut up.
Horror game. But what it is most known for is the Twitter manager e-begging MatPat to do a game theory on their terrible game. And it's not...
Why was that on Grindr?
Not an ARG, but its multiplayer sequel, Secret Neighbor, has one. And it is an example of a bad ARG, because the puzzles suck. And there's nothing scary.
MatPat, oh MatPat, I'm hello neighboring, I'm hello neighboring.
And your reward for doing the work is the chance to play an alpha build of the, at the time, newest game in the Hello Neighbor franchise. When partaking in a modern ARG...
Is that his hairline? It's over. Dude, I love your videos, but it's over.
You can expect the following. A popular children's franchise, but it's evil. Random jump scares for no reason. Normal images stretched with the Photoshop Liquify tool with their hue shifted red.
Carmilla, I require gabagool.
Text but
Doing a jump scare of Tony Soprano. Never thought I'd see the day there.
But it's evil text. The friendly character is the bad guy. The evil corporation
I mean, that's just mascot horror, but yeah, that is everywhere now.
is the bad guy. The video game you're playing is haunted. The video game takes place all in the head.
Dude, can you shut up, man? I built my entire career off this. Shut up.
Tropes exist for a reason because they worked at some point. But when the viewer is aware of the tropes and the ARG does nothing to play with or subvert them, then all horror is removed from before you visit the 2000s era website with the flashing download button that says, "Do not download." For a good example of a horror ARG, look to myhouse.wad,
Just a picture of, like, pig no fuckers.
which is a game with
Thank you, Toucan, for the 5. When will you grow out of this YouTuber phase and get a real job like OnlyFans? Holy projection.
within a game. myhouse.wad is first and foremost a story of a broken man, documenting his descent into madness through the perspective of him developing and finishing a Doom 2 map mod that was made with his childhood friend. The titular, myhouse.wad. The tone is unsettling.
I like how since my house has been overanalyzed so much, everyone, like, whenever you try to have a serious conversation about my house.wad, it just turns into, yeah, he was gay. Or, le man in le real world, he's going through le divorce.
Story is believable. It's just the developer documenting his progress in the map's development and his feelings and emotions towards his deceased friend and the mod the two of them worked on when they were children. And just as you think you may understand what's going on,
For
you
sale.
don't. And then you get jump scared by a Shrek PNG.
Oh, hello there.
And its
MLG is back!
terror lies within its
Yeah, I hate to admit when I streamed that game how much that actually scared me, though. It was just so unexpected.
lack of knowledge. We don't know where the author's madness stems from. Is it supernatural? Hallucinations? A manifestation of grief? Well, the
Cruelty Squad OST spotted.
answer is it's not real. But even if just for a moment, we could believe that it was. ARGs can be unsettling, immersive, and tell an interesting story, but only if the creator cares. But more
Talking about ARGs, bro, Bing chilling. Bring back Gemini Home Entertainment, please.
importantly, if the creator understands restraint. But if the ARG exists only to tell a never-ending story with clues that lead nowhere but more clues, and those clues leave us with unsatisfying,
£360 on scope. I hate you.
predictable answers, with every bit of lore and story delivered in the same unimaginative, derivative format, then it is not good or scary. It is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Freddy 5 Bear. Bear 5? Oh god.
If you have seen anything relating to horror that has originated online, odds are that it is most likely inspired by or completely ripped off from a creepypasta.
I'm fucking the dog, Ted.
Creepypasta is a portmanteau of the real-world normal word creepy and the 4chan stupid nonsense word copypasta. Copypasta is just a funny bit of text that gets
I don't know how I feel about that joke when he was like rent-free about Luna from Hell of a Bus for like the past 10 minutes.
posted to other places on the internet. Some examples being, "So guys, we did it. Just hit my dog going 70 miles an hour in my truck." Or the classic, "Hey guys, did you know that in terms of a creepypasta is just a copypasta, but spooky? Get it? Got it? Good." Because that
Did you notice the statue in the background? I'm trying to ignore it.
is a vital piece of information when dissecting exactly why creepypastas aren't scary. By their nature, creepypastas who tick the most boxes in the popularity checklist are the ones who are remembered. I'm gonna go over the most popular ones, and you tell me if you can spot a pattern. Jeff the Killer. Jeff was just an ordinary boy until he got covered in bleach while cleaning the bathtub. He becomes evil and starts killing people and has an epic catchphrase. Go to sleep. You could be next. Sonic EXE. Evil, spooky version of Sonic the Hedgehog with red, evil eyes and blood everywhere, and the blood is hyper-realistic.
Hyper-realistic blood flavor soylent. Only 20 grams of protein, by the way.
Sonic.exe is the story of a haunted copy of the first Sonic game where Sonic
Number 15, Smile Dog.
is evil and begins killing and corrupting the
No, he's trying to sound like the Burger King foot lettuce guy. Chills.
other characters. The game is cursed and is passed along to others. If you play it, Sonic EXE may haunt you. Squidward's an intern at the Nick.
I mean, you've got Ben Drowned. There was another one as well. I forget the name of it. Oh yeah, the Godzilla one.
Nickelodeon Animation Studio watches an unaired SpongeBob episode that features Squidward crying and depressed. He shows a face that is realistic and bulging. He has evil laughter, and at the end he takes his own life. There's also images of dead
Yeah, I never read Squidward's suicide. Is it literally just he's depressed and dies? And that's bad because it's a kid's show?
children hidden in the video. Apparently, it's a real thing, and it also may be haunted. What you can see when analyzing them side by side is that the originals share quite a few common traits. Predominantly that their writing is terrible, but also they all fail at creating a story that is even remotely unsettling to anyone old enough to pay taxes. They all feature the
Surely most of these are like 20 years old at this point, though, or close to it.
classic hallmarks of bad internet fiction, pretending to be mature and adult while in reality being consumed by only children, a cursed and or haunted object that could one day end up in the reader's hands, gore that is constantly described as hyper-realistic.
Who made that? Who made that? I was unfortunate enough to see the original once. Who made that?
He was a serial killer who bragged about killing people.
And I don't mean that it is actually described in extensive detail. It is word for word described as hyper-realistic. Constant proclamations from the author that the story is real and true, and of course, they feature predominantly characters that are popular with children. Something you can't see from analyzing the original creepypastas, because I haven't told it to you yet, is that although the stories of old suck, they are at least original. They existed solely to scare people, and the creators never intended for these tales to develop fandoms. But in current year, that has changed. There are massive communities entirely dedicated to the evolved form of these creepypastas, all contributing
Was that E621, you little degen?
fan art, fan games, merchandise, fan films, actual films, videos, continue.
To be fair, I saw this one guy who I follow on Instagram is a furry, and he does like he does like merch designs and stuff. And he was actually selling a Jeff the Killer mask, and I thought it looked really cool.
Spin-offs, and lore. There is so much lore about things that were never intended to have it, to the point that it actively hurts the admittedly already terrible reputations of their source material. Slender Man works infinitely more at being unsettling when we don't know what the creature is, what it wants, or why we need its pages. But at least it's self-contained and leaves something up to the imagination and doesn't have goddamn power scaling. Apparently, Sonic.exe, or as he's known to his Reddit miladies, X, is actually a dark...
They called him after Twitter. Genius.
multiversal entity that wants to enslave all of humanity and also raps epic style in Friday Night Funkin'. The beauty of the early creepypasta was their mystique. Things were left unexplained, and that allowed for your brain to fill in the gaps. And to a 10-year-old with unrestricted internet access, that might as well have been...
Wait. Go back. What was that?
Unrestricted internet access.
Naked men kissing hot men, kissing men naked, covered in oil kissing. Yeah, average Flasfire search history,
That might as well have been the most bone-chilling, spine-chilling...
Luna, U2's, Pickle Rick Funko Pop, and then right above me, there's a copy of Chef on DVD.
Genre-redefining, slow-burn, atmospheric creepypasta. Fear lies within the unknown. But when you know what Ben Drown's favorite color is, what Sonic EXE's
Stop
toes
with the
smell
feet!
like, and where Jane the Killer was on 9/11, there is no suspension of disbelief. There is you, reading a teenager's poorly written creative writing process.
The Fall of Chungus. This is the story that is real and very scary. Famous the Everything app user Fallen Chungus had told me the entire world that he is... God, I remember like I don't even use Twitter anymore, but I remember like someone linked me that. And then one of the replies was like, yeah, I just thought I'd deal with it like Pyro did. Okay. Fucking hell.
Project.
And I can say with 99.999999999.
Dude, could you imagine in like the dark timeline when I got like outed and stuff? I would like actually start pissing and crying. Guys, don't talk about it, please. It makes me very uncomfortable. Please, guys. Stop it. You're making me uncomfortable, guys. Yeah, like if you're an online creator and you can't roll with the punches, it is actually just, it's over.
% certainty that there isn't a single scary creepypasta.
Where did that Billy Mega Chippy
And that 0.01% solely exists because I'm being hyperbolic. Obviously, there are good creepypastas. However, I'm being hyperbolic. Obviously, there are good creepypastas.
Ted the Caver is not a creepypasta. Isn't that a guy that actually died?
However, no matter how good they may be, they will never be scary. Because while reading them, I will constantly be thinking how atrociously awful every other creepypasta is. Mascot horror began in 2014 with the birth of a little indie underground game known as Five Nights at Freddy's. And at the time, it was actually indie, underground, and innovative. It was
It actually blows me away that Five Nights at Freddy's came out before MLG.
atmospheric. The gameplay was unique, the lore coherent, and more importantly, was scary. Not because of the jump scares, those get old after about 5 milliseconds.
I've actually never played Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm too scared to. I'm not even joking. The only FNAF game I've played is Security Breach. The one that has the security guard in it that I dressed up as a woman for.
It was scary because it understood how to manage tone. The unease created by the animatronics just stand.
Someone said the egg in the jar. Thank you, Trash Baby, for the 10. Dead Rising Queen Jar. Honestly, the smell it's going to emit, if I threw that on the ground in a public place, it would probably kill 20 people.
Standing there, you alone with your thoughts in a dingy, run-down office.
I refuse to believe a 30-year-old man can't open a jar. That's been sealed for like 4 years, mate. 3 years. 2 years. It's been sealed for a period of time. It's pressurized. I can't open it.
There's only the low humming of the fan on the desk to keep you company. You're completely powerless to stop the animatronics. You can only slow them down long enough to hopefully survive to the next night. Which juxtaposes greatly with the silliness, like the posters on the walls or clicking Freddy's
Top text.
nose and hearing it go. And the lore surrounding it was filled with unanswered mysteries that were rewarding for those that were willing to dig
Left 4 Dead Boomermobile.
deeper. Who was the phone guy? What was the bite of 87? The animatronics may get a bit quirky at night, but were they just machines doing what they were programmed to do, or was there something more sinister? But then, FNAF got really, really popular.
I'm surprised it got so big without lockdown being a factor as well.
You need to man up and play Five Nights at Freddy's, big man. Pushing 30 by the way and scared of a little bear.
I don't think it's a little bear. Thank you, Morrison's Club card, for the 10.
Good morning to you, ladies. My name is Jacksepticeye. How's it going, bros?
Do you remember when Jacksepticeye like wore the driver cap he always had? I find it crazy that if PewDiePie did not shout out Jacksepticeye, we would never know who he was.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark.
Yeah, Markiplier, the holy views he got off that. The holy views. That's like 2% of Gangnam Style's views.
And then 12 games, 51 books, and a really shitty movie.
51 books.
And then 12 games,
51 books. How? The Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, the Fourth Closet. They did a Five Nights at Freddy's coloring book down there as well.
51 books, and a really shitty movie later. And we have those original questions from...
Yeah, that film is trash. I'm sorry, man. I remember doing a TikTok. I got torn to shreds making this TikTok, by the way.
You look
Literally all the comments were just saying like, yeah, just because the animatronics don't get fat and inflated, by the way. Like, it was just every Blumhouse horror film ever. It just had like FNAF tied behind it.
From FNAF 1 answered, they're just not satisfying and have led to more questions with more answers that are even less satisfying. And all of that is what has led to the mascot horror slop hellscape we now exist in. The basic premise is about as simple as can be. What if thing designed for children,
Scrimlow, Blimblow's fun, happy place. Small bean mascot, child predator.
was actually scary? And in theory, this simplicity should allow for infinite creativity, but in reality, it allows
Like,
5 elements with a different branded mascot that can be turned into plushies and sold at Hot Topic. In a quest to create the next hit game that Queso will play on
no, I can't use salt spray. My hair will fall out. It's dry enough as it is.
stream, mascot horrors have adopted the practice of taking inspiration from the last big horror game thing, taking out all the elements in the development process that may be considered difficult, and pushing it out the door as fast as possible, leaving behind a complicated web of lore that only
He shat himself.
MatPat game theory and children that are too young to read care about, gameplay that is bare bones and basic, and all elements of horror and atmosphere replaced by jump scares. And they've been so
Do you do your hair as a bit, or is it your real hair? Anyways.
overdone and amalgamated and redone and repurposed over the years that we have gone from a bear standing menacingly
That Choo Choo Charles game was pretty good, though. That was pretty good.
in the hallway, the only source of light being its flashing eyes, a sense of dread that feels as though it may last an eternity, finally followed by
Pyro,
a
this
loud,
is-
piercing, to soulless, shaking PNGs. Jump scares are no longer a way to build tension or instill a sense of fear of punishment for failure. They are a nuisance. Make a small mistake, jump scare. Cutscene with no gameplay, jump scare. Do something, jump scare.
That sucked, by the way. I remember playing that bit last year. I played it off stream, where you've got to like reprogram him, and if you get one thing wrong, it's just like a 1-frame jump scare. It's just actually horrendous.
Do nothing, jump scare. We can actually track the quality of mascot horror as a genre.
Dude, are you telling me the granny jump scare is the bottom of effectiveness? That graph is just objectively wrong.
By analyzing the effectiveness of their jump scares. That is how we ended up with the Zoomer Slop abomination that is Garten of Ban, a game series
Do not speak bad about my peak. Do not do it. Do not speak bad about my cinema.
so fundamentally awful. You should be paid for playing it and then receive
Like, as soon as I get that dono, I immediately see XQC's hair.
an apology from the
Bro, I had a delivery the other day, and then the guy says to me, he goes, "You look like XQC, you know." I just said to him, "Yeah, I get that a lot. Thank you."
developers, because any amount of money given would never make up for the time wasted in the Ban extended universe. The gameplay is terrible. It is a
It's not. It's not. It's cinema.
never-ending series of go over here, get the thing, come back, go over there, get the thing, bring it back, broken up by horrible, janky puzzles that don't work. And while you're doing that torture, you're being pursued by AI powered by the degenerate messages of Gooner furries. And that spaghetti code is wearing the skin of possibly the worst character designs I've ever seen. We had Jumbo Josh, Slow Celine,
Why are we hating? Why are we hating? It's peak.
Ban, Nab, Sting of Flynn, Balina, Opilla Bird. And you will notice that they all have the exact same textures as
I fucking hate this guy's editing so much.
DeviantArt fetish animations, as well as the same quality voice acting as DeviantArt fetish animations.
Now, we wait. Wait, no, Nab.
And the Oscar goes to...
Garden of Ban.
And it being a bad horror game, you are constantly jump scared, and they all look like this. And since you're probably
Why was he shirtless?
a normal human being, you're probably thinking, Garden of Ban is a joke. It's making fun of how bad most of the games in the mascot horror genre are, and is satirizing the common tropes they use. Nope, because at the moment, there are 7 games that cost real money to play, and with how little effort goes into them,
Actually, the first one's free.
and how popular they are, I doubt there is any chance of them slowing down. Give it 2 years and we will be on Garten of Banban 87.
I think at this point, people are just playing Garten of Banban like semi-sarcastically.
Ban's allegations.
I remember seeing I remember Jack Manifold telling me he actually voiced one of the characters in Banban.
Mascot horror
I wanted to voice one of the characters and actually reached out to them.
is an interesting paradox because it appears that the less effort you put into creating your game, the
Missing Banban got released today. What is that?
more you will be rewarded. You can have bad mascots, no horror, and no game, but it will still be a Steam bestseller and have 10 billion views on YouTube because the children will just not stop consuming the slop. There is good mascot horror to be found if you look hard enough, but why would anyone make
Yeah, Indigo Park was really good.
it
Crazy how that was made by like a YouTuber and his team as well.
when no matter what you do, 5-year-olds will
Thank you, Raven, for the 11 months.
not play your game
Almost a year of slop and 1 year closer to a master's degree. Dude, if you watch my streams and you can get a job, like, you actually deserve like a veteran's discount.
and instead watch a YouTuber explain the story and then go on to claim that it is the greatest game in the history of civilization. Analog horror is the current buzzword that has infected every aspect of internet horror. These things are everywhere. Analog horror is essentially the internet's version of the found footage film, which for the 10-year-olds watching was a type of narrative device used back in the olden days, the early 2000s, which features something being recorded on a camera, with the premise being that the camera itself or the data stored within it were lost to something, and the footage you were watching was that data recovered and presented to you. Found footage. And it is possibly the easiest type of internet horror to manufacture. Just slap a VHS filter over your video, take an old song, slow it by 50%, lower the pitch by 20 decibels, and have it play during every scary moment. Bars on it to make the aspect
I hate the pause.
ratio 4:3 like you're a Ukrainian Counter-Strike player. And voila, you are now an
Flasfire Under the Bed MP4 analog horror. Scary. 152 million views. Okay, I don't like how we put 32 years ago. We're actually going to reach a point where you'll see a YouTube video that is 32 years when it was first uploaded.
analog horror creator.
I'll be in like my 40s when that happens. Oh my god.
That is to say that analog horror can be good, but the bar for entry is so low that the amount of subpar saturated content produced
Me at the Zoo is 20 years old now. Yep, I know. Scary.
far outweighs the positive. Like every bad piece of internet horror, there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes something scary in a majority of its creators. There's a massive
I remember when Show Speed blew up and he was just like playing Sonic EXE and stuff like that
over-reliance
on like a virtual machine because he thought he'd get hacked.
on creepy visuals, distorted faces, liminal spaces, and strange things in the wrong places.
What the fuck?
In bad analog horror videos, there is nothing there to elicit any lasting fear within the viewer. Just a bunch of random tropes carelessly combined together that insist very heavily
Just dancing Shrek outside.
that what you're viewing is disturbing. Urban Spook's The Painter series is the
Okay. I know he's going to rent Urban Spook here. I do personally think Urban Spook did kind of redeem himself with his last video. The one that had like the actual the police guy break down the door and stuff. It was still a little bit edgy, but the effort there was actually pretty good. I do think he redeemed himself a bit there.
the best example of this. It uses graphic violence and disturbing imagery as a way of eliciting fear to such an insane degree that it becomes comical.
Remember when you got scared by a cardboard cutout Shrek in my house.wad? Yes.
The series consists of a bunch of supposed VHS tapes found in the basement
Yeah, the original videos were like pretty bad though.
of the uploader's apartment complex.
It was like it would show a painting called My Masterpiece and it would just be like circumcised penis or something.
It documents the police's search into a pair of serial killers that murder their victims in very epic and edgy ways. Showcasing their murders through a series of very scary paintings created by the painters. The videos are essentially a PowerPoint presentation with white text on a black background describing the crime scenes left behind by the painters. And at every one, a painting is left behind.
Long neck angel. The man I actually just thought that said the man in the piss.
Commemorating their very scary and edgy acts.
I don't think the paintings are that bad. I think they're pretty cool. But yeah, it just I swear the climax to all of those videos would just be, oh, look at this painting.
Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for Urban Spook. What? Did not care for the analog horror series known as Urban Spook. How can you even say that, Dad? The creator makes all the paintings himself, even 3D models. I acknowledge that. Very talented.
Sorry, dude.
Don't care. Don't care. It insists upon itself. The painter's body counts are in the hundreds. Every crime scene is coated in gallons of blood and...
I like the kill count bit he did there.
Other bodily
Stop that.
fluids.
The victims are tortured and their bodies are left in increasingly
Did he edit the Germa to have like a bigger smile in the corner?
absurd levels of disfigurement, so much so that they have power crept their brutality
Yeah, dead meat. That's what I meant. I don't know why I said kill count.
to Looney Tunes levels of violence.
Your serial killer stabbed their victim a couple times? Well, my serial killer stabbed them 487 times, and in 4 of the wounds, there were bodily fluids. Your serial killer strangled someone? Well, mine encased a man in wax, and also cut his eyelids and arms off, and also, in the wax, there was someone's arm, and we don't know whose arm it was.
Hey, look, Morty! I'm a leg!
Your serial killers don't get caught by the police? Well, my killers killed 3 people in their car, and when the police show up, they're still there.
Man,
And
you've
one of the
done some
victims
stuff
is
right and
tied to
some
a
stuff
tree
wrong,
with
but
their
my
arms
opinion
and
of you-
legs cut off, and they're still alive. And when the
We're gonna start to get like center left and center right Pyro fans now.
police go back to their car, the killers have left a painting for them.
You're gonna want to get down here and see this.
Actual Scooby-Doo scenarios. It is so self-indulgent with its descriptions of violence that you can't help but laugh at the sheer absurdity of it. No matter how graphically you describe some of these crimes, I will not be unnerved because the paintings look like soy jacks.
This is my favorite one, by the way, because that Wojak is actually meant to be Tony Soprano. That was what it was traced from.
The man in the pipes does not elicit fear. It looks like Le Pole Face. Flavor is law. If it exists, someone will put a VHS filter over it and call it analog horror. Anything and everything can, by definition, be turned to an analog horror series, but that doesn't mean that it should. Sometimes an idea is so fundamentally terrible from its conception that no matter what a creator does or how well it is produced, it can never be scary solely because of what it's based on. An example of this is a series titled The Smile Tapes. It is a series about a drug that makes you smile and kills you, and that's all well and good. However, the creatures in the videos are created by taking a normal photo and running it through a Smile phone app filter, the same filter used to create the when the imposter is sus face. So at no point during the Smile Tapes will I be filled with a sense of fear at the man-made horrors beyond my comprehension before me. I will be thinking of Germa from streaming.
If I chop you up in a meat grinder, and the only thing that comes out that's left of you is your eyeball, you're probably dead.
Because of the ease at which one can create an analog horror series, there are countless amounts of pure garbage.
I'm
The creators of the
5'1".
slop horror
Thank you, Pyro's smallest fan. I'm 5'1". Could be Pyro's tallest fan, actually. Thank you, Son, for the Prime.
are inspired by
Thank you, Big, for the 3 months.
actual good analog horror series like Gemini Home Entertainment, Vita Carnis, and Local 58,
Yeah, Vita Carnis was actually really good. There's been a couple episodes since I last watched it as well, I think.
just to name a few. They see how many views these good projects get, misinterpret what makes them work, copy everything bad about them, change nothing but the title, and churn them out as fast as possible for some quick and easy views. This process goes on in an infinite feedback loop of copying and repurposing until analog horror's reputation
My
is
name
that
Jeff
of the
and I work
creepypasta.
5
Horror content made by and for edgy teenagers. Analog horror has lobotomized and cannibalized its own ideas to such a degree that it has birthed a masterpiece that I am unable to decipher whether it is mocking
There's a new Greylock episode. No, there isn't. Liar!
or embracing the essence of the genre. This video is titled Family Guy analog horror. It is a 4:3 VHS filter video of clips from Family Guy with a spooky slowed version of Amazing Grace playing over the entire video, where the characters from Quahog are killed.
I didn't even know this was an actual video. I've just seen meme edits of it.
In increasingly graphic ways, and at the moment of their
Yeah, no, I've seen that frame of Chris like everywhere.
final breath, there is a still frame of Chris Griffin staring in anguish at the camera. Somehow,
Oh my god.
through its sheer
They killed her.
stupidity,
They killed Meg.
it elicits a genuine fear response within me.
Thank you, Koyo, for the 15 months.
Because it gets me to do what's so
One of my friends want you to play Tarkov with us. I appreciate the offer, man. I don't play with people. I'm antisocial.
few bad analog horror series cannot. Ask why? Why was this made? What does it mean? Why is Chris Griffin so sad? And unlike so many of its contemporaries, these questions have no answers. Because every other upload from the creator is Friday Night Funkin' videos. By my own definition, this is not horror. There is no plot. The characters are from
It's always Friday Night Funkin' every time without fail. I've never known a community to be more drenched in like self-hatred and irony.
family.
Thank you, Pyro's oldest fan, for the $10. Pyro's oldest
As a
fan.
kindergartner who works 3-hour shifts at the playground factory every day, I think Pyro deserves all the donations. Not like this is my credit card anyways.
If you're in kindergarten, how did you know what numbers to put in for the security code and the expiry date and the account number and the long card number?
Family Guy, and they serve no purpose in the narrative other than to perish and be mourned by Chris Griffin PNG. But it understands, either through divine blessing,
Go forth, my child, amongst the sea of Friday Night Funkin' gameplay. Create a masterpiece of wordless horror storytelling. Chris Griffin PNG.
or a creator with 10,000 IQ, that the less you show and the more you let your audience interpret, the more effective your horror becomes.
That's why Mandela did so well.
How does this image make you feel? What about this one?
An empty space, I'm unsettled.
What about that? These are all examples
Thank you, Fem Pyro, for the 10.
So scary I can't is so scary I'm gonna.
of liminal spaces. Liminal space is an internet word used to describe the aesthetic of a location that gives off an eerie feeling of surreal emptiness. The actual normal definition is simply a point of transition, a hallway leading to a
Haha, trans.
door, a staircase that goes to another level. Pyrocynical in
Okay, right. Why did he play that immediately after? Okay.
2 to 3 years. When you gaze upon
Man, I tried to get in on the trans joke first. Rent free, man. Crazy. Okay, you know what? I deserve that one, actually. Fair enough.
an image of a liminal space, you may notice a sense of dread creep over you as you attempt to comprehend how an inanimate area can feel so empty and alone. Well, if you feel this way, do not fret, little flazeling, for millions of others have this feeling as well. The liminal space aesthetic is an incredibly popular internet genre, with TikToks, Twitter bots, Instagram accounts, subreddits, and games all dedicated to giving you that feeling of with its popularity, of
That Pools game was okay, though. It was like a playable A24 film, just nothing happened.
course, comes the divergence from what made the original idea of the liminal space intriguing. The locations of indifferent unease have been warped into actively hostile environments. I know that's a lot of talky for some pictures of swimming pools and office spaces, but I need you to understand that the misinterpretation of the liminal space itself.
I know the point that the gay is trying to make. It's like, you know, the scary thing was how unsettling it was. It felt unnatural, but because you keep like forcing conflict and entities in the lore of these stories and games, it just ruins the atmosphere.
Hi Pyro, I'm the rare crossover Hassan fan. Usually I watch him over you, but this video is funny. Anyways, would you ever catch up on Mandela? I enjoyed your reactions to it. Much love, Joe Mama.
Thank you, Hassan, strongest soldier. Disgusting, dirty lefty. Get out my stream. Would you ever catch up on Mandela? I think I've caught up on it. Oh my god. Oh. 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 Is that? Oh. Oh, there's a new one. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Ooh, I might watch that. Okay. Thank you for the shout. Thank you for the shout, Hassan, viewer. Thank you, Koyo, for the 5. You pronounced my name right for once.
Your shots today.
Thank you, Pyro's HR. Anyways, thank you, Koyo, for the 5. You actually pronounced my name right for once. I'm sad now. I can't clip a new pronunciation of my name anymore.
Has
Unlucky.
fundamentally influenced the horror subgenre that has spawned from it. The back rooms. It was simply this image of a dingy office space with the accompanying text.
The snack rooms.
If you're not careful and you no clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the
Moist critical.
madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has hurt you.
The utter lack of detail in the original backroom story offers a profound amount of terror.
Kind of weird to think the picture was a real place. Yeah, it was like the back of a department store, right?
Combining the unease of a smelly office building with an open-ended write-up allows for the
I mean, imagine how many places in America that are just abandoned, like all those malls and stuff.
mind to
I
wander
think the worst thing about that picture is imagine the amount of asbestos that's probably in the ceiling.
to places that it never knew were there. And these feelings and thoughts were shared by many others, and the backrooms became incredibly popular. But the internet did what the internet does, and took something small and blew it out of proportion. Now the backrooms is filled with monsters. Evil monsters that want nothing more than to do horrible things to you.
Thank you, Vinny, for the 24 months.
Siren Head, Skibbity Toilet, every SCP ever, we got them. How big is it? Endless. We got layers. And every layer is...
I mean, I kind of get it, because it's like, if you make a backrooms game, you have to have some kind of, like, entity chasing you. Because if you're doing, like, a co-op game, it'd just be boring. But at the same time, it's weird. Like, how do I explain it? It's almost like they got a really cool concept, and then it just became, like, very commercialized, in a sense. Because everyone was kind of rushing on it to, you know, make money off, like, Steam co-op horror games and stuff.
A different setting with a different threat level and even more spooky monsters. You are not alone. And of course, we got secrets. There are secret government cover-ups, secret government explorations. It may even be created by the government. There's a game theory. Here's an iceberg. Have any questions? Don't worry. Someone has an answer for everything. The Backrooms is extremely unique in that no one owns it. There is not one driving voice behind its creation, which means that its community gets to dictate what it is. There are some impressive projects based on the Backrooms. Game Pixels has an amazing series documenting a government agency exploring...
Is it true that he's getting a film made of it? Like A24 are helping fund it or something? A Backrooms movie?
Exploring the Backrooms that understand...
It's actually perfect. Like, A24 you could not get a better company to fund that, because they are the king of, like, nothing happens in films.
At a fundamental level, exactly what makes them terrifying. We know...
I saw Warfare the other day, which is like kind of a companion piece to Civil War. But it's obviously a lot more realistic, because it's taken from accounts and people that were in the Gulf War, I think. I think it was the Gulf War. That was really good. But it was like, it is not an action film at all. It is very slow.
Nothing. Even when there is a spooky monster, it makes me pee-pee in my pants. Because we almost never see it. And when we do, it is already too late. So, is internet horror scary? Well, if we look at it as a whole, No, because its creators misunderstand what horror is, and think that having over-explained yet still convoluted lore, references to popular media but it's evil, and constantly insisting that what you're watching is scary by having red glowing eyes and hyper-realistic blood and spooky-dooky jump scares immediately makes their story scary, which makes it good.
Because the scarier it is,
Thank you, Twisted
the more
Shark, for the
mature
10.
you are for having seen it.
There's a secret I haven't been telling you. If you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed it. I was very subtle. There have been many clues for exactly who is responsible for the lack of terror in internet horror. It is my #1 nemesis.
Is that a picture of Colossal on the right?
Children watching, consumed by only children, horror content made by and for edgy teenagers. Internet horror is a trend that is popular with children that think it's mature to like spooky media, which is totally fine until they start trying to create it. A good piece of horror will get popular, and the children will rush to it for a whole litany of reasons, either to use it to get popular.
It's out in less than half an hour. It's like midnight here already. Americans actually win like every time, man. God damn it.
Themselves because they genuinely enjoy or because they find it ooh so spooky and want to scare their friends at school. No matter the reason, the end result is the same. The market is flooded with low quality content, and the niche is oversaturated until it dies. And then they move on to the next big horror thing to repeat the entire process. At one point it was creepypastas, then mascot horror, then ARGs, then analog horror, then liminal spaces. Eventually they will move on to something else, and the cycle will repeat until the universe ends.
What do you think the next big horror thing is? What do you think it's going to be? We've had liminal spaces, we've had analog horror, we've had creepypastas. There's got to be something else, right? AI horror? Oh my god. You might actually be onto something there. That's scary. Yeah, okay, chat's saying AI horror. Like, that could actually be a thing. Oh. Employment. They just get a job. Thank you, Kaio, for the prime.
You should join my Patreon too. My pants are filled with some stinky poo. I shit it in my pants.
But yeah, if you haven't already, definitely check out Flazfire. Drop him a little sub. He makes very, very good videos. Flazfire. I've been calling him Flazfire the entire time, and his name is Flazfire with an E. But yeah, he's gay, unfortunately, but he does make really good videos.